Um, Hi YouTube. I was
During
just a little alarmed at this response from Meet Kevin, and it's filled with a lot of misinformation. Um, he did not do a very good job understanding Graham's philosophy because let me explain. First of all, these two, Graham and Kevin, each teach different investing philosophies. Okay, that's number one. Kevin is a person who teaches you how to build your own portfolio and to invest in your own stocks. Graham tells you to buy an index fund like Vanguard's S&P 500 or total stock market fund or Fidelity's uh, Fidelity's total stock market return, which has zero expenses. There's a problem with his response to Graham's video makes absolutely no sense, okay? And he gives examples of buying Tesla stock and this and that and that. Okay, buying Tesla stock is comparing apples and oranges here. Um, let me just illustrate how how so what Vanguard's saying is front loading your investments, so being more aggressive early and then tapering off or maybe even stopping altogether actually pays more than just dollar cost averaging entirely. And I agree with that. Okay, watch this. If you Google S&P 500 calculator, you get this calculator. And there's other calculators too that will get you to the specific day, but this is close enough. Trust me. Okay, so we're going to take $10,000 here. And if I would have thrown, say, $10,000 in November of 1972, okay, we're going to get this much money, right? This is a year before the crash. Year before the 1973-1974 stock market crash. Okay, so I'm gonna buy a year later. Okay, yeah, it ticks up a little bit, but now let's find out what happens if I buy 2 years before the stock market crash. I throw all the $10,000 in there and don't add anything to it. Well, look at that. So I bought it. So I bought near the top. It went down according to this in 1973, 1974. It reinvested its dividends. Okay, that's the thing you have to understand. Kevin is using an example like Tesla. I don't know if Tesla pays a dividend or not. Maybe they do, but a lot of stocks don't. Okay, so it's not so. Yeah, so if you invest in a fund overall, it will reinvest its dividends when that price goes down, and you will end up doing better if you just add add a longer time horizon. Now, the Vanguard study said it was 2 out of 3 times. Well, that's probably because for example, if you timed it in 1972, 1 year before the crash, you end up with this. If you time it a year later, you end up with this. Okay, so what Vanguard is saying is that 2 out of 3 times, if you just put it in there long enough, this number should be greater than if you wait a year. And you can see it's not an alarming rate, which he explains. He explains in this video. He mentions that it's not a big difference. He's contradicting his own philosophy, because then he starts getting into Tesla stock and this other individual stock and this that. Okay, individual stocks are totally different. Graham is basing this that you're buying an index fund, you're buying a mutual fund, buying the whole stock market. Kevin's strategy is you're picking your own portfolio. Okay, now, how many investors should pick their own portfolio versus just buying the whole market? I'd say well over 90%. So, if you want to listen to this advice, you know, his advice won't make you broke, but Preston. There's a guy named Preston who covers Warren Buffett's philosophy. You can also read. There's a book called The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, and Preston also kind of digs into the more modern day version of it. His philosophy, honestly, is more like Jim Cramer, and yeah, Jim Cramer is okay. He's not a bad person to listen to, but I think we could do better than this. So I think this is a very misleading response. It doesn't at all reflect on what Graham was saying.